practitioner students from Clemson University. We're making this video to educate other nurse practitioner students about anticipatory guidance for toddlers. So, anticipatory guidance is very important to help parents and children transition from a very dependent relationship to one in which the child has an established sense of autonomy with an evolving understanding of the self as a separate, creative, and powerful being. Parents can learn new communication and interaction skills with their children. Our first topic is regulation and sleep-wake patterns. Toddlers can be overwhelmed if overly stimulated, so it's important to explain to parents how children process information and control themselves. Children may have sensory integration problems that will require more structure and parental adjustment of the environment. Explain how to help toddlers identify their feelings. This skill will allow toddlers to more successfully organize their feelings and respond appropriately to their feelings. Discuss with parents how to provide opportunities for toddlers to have some control by giving choices such as, which story would you like to be read at bedtime? Consistent sleep and nap time schedules are necessary. Use of a comfort object such as a blanket or a teddy bear and bedtime rituals such as reading a book or singing a song can assist in this process. Encourage parents to give positive reinforcement of healthy sleep behaviors. Encourage parents to offer naps and rest times. Recommend one nap a day, but emphasize not to force toddlers to rest or nap. Discuss sleep problems that may occur during the toddler years, including sleep resistance, excessive grinding of the teeth, nightmares, and sleepwalking. Recommend to parents that if nighttime waking occurs, reassure the toddler briefly and give the child a stuffed animal or a blanket to assist with self-consolation. Firm, loving, and consistent discipline should be used when dealing with sleep refusal. And lastly, do not give a bottle in bed. Next, we'll talk about strength and motor coordination. Discuss with parents the importance of play as an important means for toddlers to practice their physical, social, and emotional skills, as well as to maintain a healthy lifestyle and weight. Encourage parents to provide their children with a variety of activities that will engage both fine and gross motor skills, and that will introduce their children to nature. Some ideas are taking children to a park to throw balls, playing on the swing set, and playing in the grass. Children should be given crayons, markers, paints, papers, blocks, and building toys appropriate for their age. Encourage children to play with natural materials such as grass, sand, plants, and water. Explain how parents can tie in practice with motor skills as part of their daily activities, such as having the child hold their cup, squeeze the toothpaste bottle, and button up their own buttons and do their zippers. Discuss the importance of the necessity of constant adult supervision during these activities. Next, we will discuss toilet training. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends that toilet training begin when the child is ready. This is not before the age of 18 to 24 months. Instruct the parent on the following indicators that the child is ready for toilet training. The child can be dry for periods of 2 hours or longer, knows when wet or dry, can pull pants up or down, and can indicate a bowel movement occurrence. More indicators are able to sit, walk, squat, understand meaning of the words used by family in toileting, and understanding what the toilet is for, able to follow directions, able to communicate needs, demonstrates a desire to please the parent, and expresses curiosity about the use of the toilet. Discuss the various management techniques that can be helpful for toilet training, such as keeping the child as clean and dry as possible, talking to the child about toilet training, teaching the child how to toilet, providing practice time for the child, providing a comfortable, safe, feeling environment, and giving consistent, positive feedback. Instruct the parents to plan for frequent toilet breaks, which is up to 10 times a day, and to be sure to teach personal hygiene, such as washing the hands. Tell parents that if children resist training, the effort should be put on hold for a few weeks before trying again. It is important that toilet training does not become a battle for control.
I will discuss feeding and self-care. So first, it's important to explain to parents that what their child has to eat is solely provided by them. So if they have nutritious snacks in the home, then the child will eat nutritious snacks. The child should have 3 meals and 2 nutritious snacks a day. The bite rule has also been very helpful. Parents should expect their child to take a bite of each thing on their plate per age or per year that they are. So if they're 2, they will take 2 bites of everything on their plate. It's important to discourage parents from making separate meals for the child so that the child understands they are expected to eat what the parent eats. Food jags happen a lot at this age, which mean that the child may only want to eat a certain food for a certain amount of days or not want to eat a certain food, and that's normal in their development. Eating habits that are changing are also going on with their developmental changes. The child's appetite may decrease for the fact that they get distracted easily and they're not going to stay at a table and eat like they would before. Finger food can actually stimulate fine motor and cognitive development and promotes independence, which is very important at this stage. It's important to encourage self-feeding and structured family meals. You don't want to make mealtime a power struggle, as well as, like we mentioned before, with the child, because then it just turns into an argument, and you want it to be a positive experience. It's important to discuss the importance of the child mastering self-care, such as like toileting, bathing, dressing, and eating on their own. I also have communication and language. So it's important to tell the parents to stimulate the child's language by reading to them, talking, listening, responding to the child, and allowing the child to be in situations with other children to where they can interact verbally. It is helpful to not let a child under 2 years of age view TV, or if you do, to limit the TV to 1 to 2 hours or less. It's important to reinforce appropriate speech, but discourage the parent from pressuring the child to speak appropriately. It is also important to reassure that language errors come with developmental and as they are learning, so things that may be said incorrectly now will work themselves out as they develop.
I will discuss social and emotional growth. These are things that you need to teach parents in general. Toddlers spend most of their time running about, verbalizing, and demanding to join family activities. These are years of intense learning about and managing feelings such as love, happiness, anger, frustration, aggression, and jealousy, as well as social skills such as sharing, giving, and receiving affection. Toddlers begin to learn words that go with their feelings. Autonomy is a major developmental milestone for toddlers. As far as emotional growth, toddlers need love, warmth, and comfort from their parents and primary caregivers in order to thrive. Toddlers learn to love and find satisfaction in pleasing their parents. Toddlers learn to respond to the kisses, hugs, and cuddles they have received by giving these gestures in return. Maternal depression can lead to social, emotional, and language concerns in toddlers. Toddlers that give loving gestures and are ignored will quickly stop trying and find pleasure elsewhere. Thumb sucking, rhythmic body movements, and body manipulation are all more pleasurable and reliable than person-to-person contact for some toddlers. Toddlers gradually increase their ability to follow commands. Sometimes they vacillate between being the big boy and the mommy's baby, and on some days they may cling to the mother's skirt and not letting her out of sight, whereas on other days they may play for short periods of time in the next room, trotting back and forth every so often to see, touch, and hear the mother and be reassured by her presence. Toddlers like to have choices, and quickly they will learn the power of the word no. Some important concepts: sibling interaction. Toddlers may regress when a new baby comes into the family. Morality. Toddlers cannot be expected to make safe decisions if left alone in potentially dangerous situations because of their internal sense of conscience and their judgment is poor. Young children, particularly toddlers, experience electrical shock most often when they bite electrical cords or poke metal objects such as forks or knives into unprotected outlets or appliances. According to the CDC, the leading cause of death ages 1 to 4 years old is accidents. Peer relationships. Generally, toddlers do not engage with their peers in an interactive way. Parallel play is the norm for this age group. Toddlers may be fascinated by other children their own age and will demonstrate curiosity towards them, by examining them closely and poking and prodding them. Body image, toddlers are highly concerned about body image. They may be fascinated by different parts of the body and how they work. Body injury is a concern. By the end of the second year, they may notice inner feelings of their bodies, such as the discomfort of hunger. Next, we will talk about cognitive development. Toddler thinking is highly concrete. According to Piaget, 18 to 24-month-old children use mental imagery and infer causality when they can only see effect. By the end of the second year, children enter the pre-operational stage with preconceptual thinking and intuitive thinking. Symbolic thinking, such as a block becomes a car and words become symbols for ideas.
Next, I will discuss dental hygiene. It's important to make parents aware that the toddlers should visit the dentist at least twice a year for routine cleanings and exams. Toddlers should also brush their teeth twice a day, just using a pea-sized amount of toothpaste, and be sure that the toddler spits the toothpaste out. Parental supervision should always be given while the toddler brushes his teeth. And another key point on dental hygiene is if the toddler requires a drink during the night, be sure that he only has access to water instead of juices, teas, or sodas due to the high sugar content and tooth decay. Next is safety. Safety is a big issue with toddlers. Safety or unintentional injury is the number one cause of death among young children, and toddlers just do not have good judgment, and because of this, parental supervision must always be provided. Vehicle safety is a big issue. 58% of all car seats are installed incorrectly according to safekids.org. Parents have an option. They can check out a website. It's www.seatcheck.org to locate a child safety seat inspection station. Ensure the appropriate car seat is used based on the child's height and weight, as well as the child's maturity level, as determined by state law. If the child uses a car seat, it should be properly installed, preferably in the middle of the back seat of the car, and there should be no more than 1 finger's width of space between the child's collarbone and the harness strap. Parents should not start the vehicle until everyone is buckled up, and toddlers learn by observation, which is why it is vital for parents to model safe behaviors by always wearing their seat belts. And children should never be left unsupervised in or around vehicles. Outdoor safety is also a concern. Toddlers should never be left unsupervised when playing outside, and the children should always be under constant adult supervision and not other children's supervision or sibling supervision, especially when the child is around water, including bathtubs, play pools, buckets, and toilets. Touch supervision should always be provided when a child is around water, and what touch supervision is when an adult is present and should be within an arm's reach of the child in case the child falls. Drowning was the number one case of death among toddlers in 2013, according to the CDC. And just because your child has had swimming lessons in the past does not prevent them from drowning, because they can still drown if they've had swimming lessons. You should always ensure the child stays within fences and gates, especially if a pool is present. There should be a 4-sided fence with self-closing, self-latching gates. Keep toddlers away from moving machinery, lawnmowers, overhead garage doors, driveways, and streets. And if a vehicle is going to be moving, such as backing out of a garage or pulling the car in and out of the driveway, you should always ensure that there's another adult holding the child, because the driver may not always see the child and accidentally run him over. You should always ensure that surfaces under playground equipment is soft enough to absorb a fall, and teach your toddler to ask permission before approaching animals, especially dogs. Toddlers should always wear a bicycle helmet that is approved when riding a tricycle, a bicycle, or riding in a seat on an adult's bicycle. And modeling behavior, again, is important, and the parent should also wear a helmet and be sure that both the parent and the child's helmet is properly fitted according to the manufacturer's instructions. And finally, under safety is gun safety. The best way to keep your child safe from injury or death from guns is to never have one in the home. But if parents must have a gun in the home, they should definitely be removed from places in which children live or play, or at least unloaded and locked, and the ammunition stored separately. Unfortunately, many young children are killed by guns each year, and most are injured by either themselves, a sibling, or a friend.
This concludes our presentation. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and we wish you the best of luck in your studies.